Because I think I'm the right person, rightfully placed to represent their grievances and actually to bring them the good tidings from the government because I've been born and brought up in that place. So I understand the area very well. Yes, I'm tried, I'm proved, I'm already proved, and I'm already tested and tested. Wamenionja, I won. I was declared winner, but after some few days, the victory was taken from me. That victory was robbed from me. In fact, I was told, unaweza enda kotini. One of my ambitions ya kusimama ni ili niweze kupigania rights za hao watu ambao wanaishi kwa hizo nyumba wasinyang'anywe.
Hello everyone, this is 3T TV, your #1 online news channel where we are telling the Thika story as it is. And today we are coming to you from Mary Point Chicken Garden that is located along the Thika-Garissa Highway near Gatitu Petrol Station and right opposite St. Peter the Rock Catholic Church. This is where they have the best kienyeji chicken. I can promise you that you will not be disappointed. This is Countdown 2022. And as always, we have an amazing guest who is a seasoned politician. He has been in this game for long and he's going to tell us where he has been and we will get to hear his story. If you are new here, kindly subscribe. There's a button that is at the bottom of your screen. Hit it so that you get notified every other time we put a video up. And if you are regular, we want to thank you and let's keep the comments coming. So let the program begin. Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for making time to have this conversation with us.
Yes, I'm also happy to meet you and actually to be part of this 3T TV.
Sure, now you are not a stranger.
That's true.
Most of us know you.
Yeah.
But for the sake of somebody who doesn't know you, please tell us who you are and a background of your upbringing.
Well, they call me Tony Kuru.
Yes.
But my names are Anthony Kuru. But that is my political, do I call it trademark?
Okay.
Those are the names that I use. Tony Kuru.
Yes.
Yes, I was born in a place called Starehe. That is the Jamofasta, the Three Sisters estates. We call them Jamofasta. That is Jamhuri, Starehe, and Ofafa. That is where I was born in 1973. I was born there, I was brought up there. I went to school here at Mogumoine Primary School from class 1 to class 7. Then I transferred, I went to West Pokot boarding school for class 8. And I happened to sit for my class 8 examinations, KCPE, in 1989.
Okay.
Yes. So from there, I joined Mianzini High School in Nakuru. Then after that, I came back to Thika and I began business at Mokereti. Yes.
So I think you have a background in hawking.
I'm a professional hawker. This is the real hustler now. You are talking to the real hustler. I've been in hawking for the rest of my life. I've been in business. That's where I feed, I clothe from. That's where I do my, that's where I get my income. I'm a hawker, yes. Stroke businessman.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why we are here is because you have political ambitions. And it is not the first time.
Yeah, you're right.
But now I'd like you to tell us for the upcoming election.
Yes.
What seat are you vying for?
Well, I've always started from below. My ambitions have been to represent my people from the local perspective of it. That is the MCA. And that is what I'm yearning for. I want to be the county assembly representative for hospital ward.
Okay.
Yes.
Hospital ward.
Yes.
And I think that's where you were brought up.
Of course, yes. And I've always wanted to represent those people because I think I'm the right person who's rightfully placed to represent their grievances and actually to bring them the good tidings from the government because I've been born and brought up in that place. So I understand the area very well. I understand the people who reside there. I reside the activities, the engagements. I'm well. I have a footstool in hospital world. Yeah, that's why my ambitions are there. Yeah.
Now, you've been in Mukireti Market
of course,
as a leader.
Of course.
Please take us through your leadership.
Yes, and it started way back in 1992. I was a staunch supporter of Matiba, who happened to introduce multi-party politics in this country. And this is when we had the first oppositions. And we were lucky to establish multi-party democracy here in Thika by having one of our own who stood with Matiba, Mr. Matiba.
Okay.
I happened to be in the campaign machinery for Mheshimiwa Ndicho.
Yes.
So that is how I got into politics. Yeah, we were looking for that seat for him, and by good luck, we got it. So since then, I became a very good friend of the former MP, Honorable Stephen Ndicho. And that is how I got introduced into politics, into active politics.
Okay. Talking of active politics, it means you have been a leader.
Yes.
In other aspects apart from politics.
Yeah.
Please enlighten us on that.
I found myself in leadership way back in high school, whereby I was the chairman of the debate club. So I could make motions, I could introduce motions. Sometimes I could be on the opposition side. So I think that is how I was identified. Then I also became the school head boy where I was schooling. Okay, little did I know that I would be a politician later. I thought my ambitions by then was to become a businessman, a very great businessman.
Okay.
Yes, but I just found myself doing political things even in high school. Yeah, that were associated with leaderships here and there. Yeah.
So apart from high school?
After that, we could have some things like one of our own has left. I would chair the burial committees. So things like that. And then of course, I got saved. I was in this church, Gospel Revival Church. I would be given some duties to do, you see. And I just realized that I was being noticed and earmarked for various positions in the church. Yeah.
It means there's a leadership trait that they were seeing in you.
That is true.
Yeah.
I even think some people thought I would be a great evangelist other than doing political things.
Yes.
Yes, because I was so much in the church and so much in the word.
Yes.
Yes, but after some time I left. I desisted from those leadership platforms, the church, and I found myself in politics. Yes.
Now, talking of politics, you are a seasoned politician.
Yes, of course.
Your name has been in the ballot one too many times.
Like 3 times.
Please take us through that.
This will be the 4th, yeah.
Please take us through that. When was the first time?
The first time was in 2002.
Okay.
And that time, I was the Secretary General for my Moi Market Traders into Blackheads Mukireti. It happened, there was this relocation from the highway, Kenyatta Highway, to the place that now the traders are doing their businesses at, now the Moi Market. So after the transition, I had the ambitions to run for by then it wasn't, we were not called MCAs, we were Kajuras.
Okay.
So I wanted to be a councillor for those people, to present their wars, to defend them. We were exposed to a lot of animosity from the authorities by then, because we we actually hatukuwa tunaonekana kama watu, you know, because you are doing business besides barabara, so there was that time that we had to relocate. Our stalls were demolished, lazima ningeenda kuwatetea, so we did it successfully. So I thought, no, maybe I could go a notch higher of becoming their representative kwa council, so that I could actually present their wars and fight for their rights,
Sure.
and solve those injustices. So my first venture into elective politics was in 2002. So nikaingia kwa uwanja. By then I became third. So nikaona iko sawa, maybe next time I can try. So the second time I prepared myself for. Sasa sikuwa mgeni sana into politics. I know where I went wrong. So nikajiandaa kabisa 2007. That is when I did the second venture into elective politics. In 2002 nilitumia Social Democratic Party. By then it was the political vehicle that had that was People's Choice. Noting that by then the SDP was an opposition party.
Okay.
So nilienda na SDP, and some of my friends were in other parties, but I lost it. So in 2007 I had good support from the ground, so nikaingia into the election, and I won. By the way, I won.
This is 2007?
Yes, 2007.
What seat were you vying for?
The councillor.
Councillor still?
Yes,
Okay.
councillor still. By then hatukuwa na hizi vitu za MCAs, what. So I won. I was declared winner, but after some few days, the victory was taken from me. Because some people believed that we could not cope. My political stand na yao ilikuwa tofauti sana, because I was fighting corruption, and they feared that if I would join them, they wouldn't do very much, they wouldn't succeed in their corrupt deals. So after like 2-3 days, that victory was robbed from me, and I found myself on the wrong side. In fact, I was told, unaweza enda kotini. And you know that is the norm with our Kenyan politics. If you are irrelevant, now the next option is you go to court. So 2007 was a tricky time, because that is when we had the political violence that erupted. So KICC was not accessible. All those cases za viti by then zilikuwa zimeshimamishwa, so actually we could not access anything. Serikali ili concentrate kwanza na kutuliza nchi, na of course the big guys to sit on the table and to sort out their national issues. So I lost it that way, but it was robbed from me. Yes.
Now tell me, what lessons did you learn from those two experiences that you're probably carrying forward, in light of you have gone through the system one too many times?
Yeah.
What is this that is keeping you going?
What keeps me going is the zeal and the burden that I carry for the people that I wish to represent, to present their needs, their wants, of course from the government, and to fight social injustices. But actually I've learned 2 or 3 lessons. That if you have an idea, obstacles are too many. Yeah, if you have the right passion, the rightful passion, if you have a vision, if you are focused, you find so many obstacles along the way. And especially in politics. Along the way you make friends and you make enemies. And they are not enemies as per to who you are as a person, but to what you carry, the ideas you carry, the zeal that is in you, the vision, you see? Yeah, that is the lesson that I've learned. Because since 2002, I've made friends and I've made enemies equally. Yeah, there are people who love me, there are equally people who hate me for political reasons. Yeah.
Okay, talking about zeal and vision, if the people of Township Ward, Hospital Ward, I beg your pardon, could give you the mandate to become the next member of County Assembly, what areas are you going to prioritize on?
Oh, I would do wonders. Last time, on my posters, I talked about servanthood, servant leadership.
Okay.
And I told them that I'm not only a seasoned politician, but an experienced politician in leadership. And I gauged this on my work when I was secretary and equally chairman for the business people at Mokeriti. I actually fought for them until they got settled. And I can remember at some 2 or 3 times, I was even, those guys in authority wanted to assassinate me because it's like I became an obstacle to what they wanted to gain from that place. I can remember even at one point I was nilistakiwa, I was taken to court on an allegation that I had beaten another woman, robbed her of 14,000, a phone, ile 3310. Sahi hata ukipata unaikanyanga tu. That time it had value. So nilikuwa naambiwa nimemuiba hiyo Nokia 3310. By then its worth was 7,000. Na surprisingly, nilijipata kotini. And with all those counts, but by God's grace, I was able to overcome that. Na nilitumia njia mingi sana. By then walikuwa naona hapana, if this guy anaweza enda committee while he's there, then we can maneuver what we wanted, but by God's grace it didn't happen. So while I was in Mokeriti, where I was doing my business, and as I was their secretary and their chairman consecutively, I really stood up for their rights. I really fought for them. Mpaka hiyo soko ikawa what it is today. So what you see today is part of my efforts, is part of the struggle, is part of what I wanted. Although there is a lot of corrupt deals that happened after that, because that market, its situation is not very up to date. A lot of ills happened. Like now, utaenda upate gorofa huko, residential.
Sure.
Actually, it wasn't meant for that. It was purely a market. Because eventually, tycoons will buy those stalls. Wataendelea tu kujenga, because kuna demand ya nyumba. So eventually, hiyo soko itaisha. So I think there is a problem that needs to be addressed in future. Kwa sababu from our plan, it was not supposed to be a residential area. 2, the sewerage system there ni ya kitambo sana. It has not been upgraded ya kuweza kuhost those residential the residential buildings and the occupants there. So I believe if I am given that chance, I would ninaweza saidia huko zaidi. Upgrade the sewer system. Kama ni hizo residential thing, we deal with it. Kwa sababu eventually we will lose that market. Definitely we will lose that market. If we allow those story buildings to go up, it will get finished. Na our initial plan was to have a business place ya watu wa Thika. Ya watu wa Thika, where one person can run and buy items very quickly because it is in town. So another thing, hapo Jamofasta, where I reside.
Sure.
I remember there was this issue of electricity. Kuna wakati tulikatiwa stima hapo na municipal. Kwa sababu hapo mbeleni municipal ilikuwa inalipia watu wa hapo stima. So ikafika wakati.
Allow me to cut you short.
Yeah.
Kuna mtu haelewi Jamofasta ni nini?
No, Jamofasta.
Tueleze.
They are the 3 sisters. Starehe, Jamuhuri and Ofafa. They are the 3 sisters. So Jamofasta, it's Jamuhuri, Starehe and Ofafa. Yeah, the 3 sisters. Na hizo nyumba zilikuwa za wafanyikazi wa municipality kitambo. Lakini kwa saa hii ziko na wananchi wa kawaida. Yeah. So that is where I was brought up from. That is where I reside hata kwa leo.
So what plan do you have na watu wa Jamo Foster?
Okay, Jamo Foster kuna shida kadhaa tumetatua. Nikiwa involved I used to be patron ya chama inaitwa Jamo Foster. Kuna watu ambao wamechaguliwa kuangalia mahitaji na kuendesha sera za huko. Sasa kuna wakati tulikuwa na shida ya maji, kuna wakati tulikuwa na shida ya stima, kuna wakati tulikuwa na shida ya hizo nyumba. Na being part of that committee tulizitatua. Tukawekewa mita, tukawekewa stima, wananchi sasa hivi wanajilipia stima, maji wanajilipia directly. Hizo nyumba saa hizi ni za hao watu. But tunaongojea hii program ya serikali ambayo wanasema wataunda nyumba za kurelocate hao watu. So I think one of my ambitions ya kusimama ni ili niweze kupigania rights za hao watu ambao wanaishi kwa hizo nyumba wasinyang'anywe. Pili, katika in such an exercise there are some people who come they call themselves investors with the notion of kupata ardhi hapo na kujenga magorofa kama ile unaona hapo Mokereti. So I really want to be part and parcel of the exercise. Just to make sure there are no social injustices. Hakuna mtu amedhulumiwa, hakuna mtu amenyang'anywa haki yake, na pia kuzuia hiyo grabbing, because hapo ndipo wanaangalia sana. I think part of hao watu wakiwa settled, half of it will be occupied, kwa sababu wanasema watajenga ghorofa, but half of it will be left bare. So I think kama hii serikali inaweza fanya kazi mzuri ni wajenge nyumba za kutosha kwa hiyo ardhi yote ambazo zitasaidia mwananchi wa kawaida. Lakini sio matajiri kadhaa wajiunge wakuje kupora hiyo land. And that is why I really want to stand na kuwa representative wa huko ili nizuie such social injustices. I did it before in Mokereti. Although walini overpower because single-handedly I fought them. I fought the tycoons. So I also hope it won't happen kwa Jamo Foster.
Fair enough. Sasa, hospital ward has had other leaders before you.
Yeah.
What is it that Tony Kuru is going to do differently from the predecessors?
Of course. You see, I've seen so many leaderships come and go. Way back from 1992 when I first ventured into elective politics. I believe I'm different from them because I'm an institution by myself. Yeah? That one I believe, I'm an institution by myself. I've seen all those evils happening and I know I'm the only correct person who can rectify the mistakes that have been done there. Because one, that is a place that I'm aware of. I've been born and brought there.
Sure.
I know the problems hao watu wako nazo because I've been there. So na nikiangalia vizuri sana what lacks in that place ni mtu committed. Na watu ambao wanaelewa ile kazi iko mbele ya hata wenye wako saa hii, the current people who are aspiring there, nikiwaangalia vizuri sioni mtu ako na suruhu ya hospital ward for real. Some of them kwa sababu kiti ya MCA saa hii unalipwa 200,000. There are those sittings, utaitwa mheshimiwa, utaendesha gari mzuri, utaishi nyumba, utahama penye unaishi. And for your information, let me tell you, mimi siwezi hama huko. I cannot. Huko siwezi hama. Tutakaa na hao watu for the next 5 years. Walete mashida zao, tuzitatue na niishi huko. Lakini saa hii ukiangalia wale watu wanachaguliwa huko, after 1 month, mtu amehama. So nikiangalia hata wale watu ambao wanasimama huko currently, hata ukimuuliza unaenda kufanya nini, atakwambia women empowerment, kwa sababu wewe imeandikwa hivyo. Ukimuuliza what else, youth empowerment, lakini ukimuuliza how do you empower a youth, he cannot tell you. How do you empower that woman, huyo mama mwenye anachoma mahindi hapo, huyo mama mwenye anauza mboga hapo, haezi kukuambia anything beyond women empowerment, you see. So I think I'm the right person to lead and to be the representative wa hospital ward. And this is why kila wakati roho yangu iko tu hapo hospital ward. Niko hapo kwa sababu I have the solution. And I'm happy because since 2002, when I first ventured into elective politics and I was defeated, until today, it is like how many years? Like 20 or so years. There are no changes. You cannot say hata uwezi sema kumekuwa na any leadership in place. The place is devastated. Zile barabara ziko they are deteriorated. Kama ni street lights hakuna za kutosha. So I think I'm the only person who can dispense servant leadership. That is what they lack. Because the people who come there, some are investors. So what I want to bring to hospital is servant leadership, to listen to the needs of those people and to make sure that solutions for their problems are at their doorsteps. That is one of my #1 priority, to make sure that we solve problems of unemployment, problems of kama hizo stima sasa hakuna, hizo barabara ni venye tu nilizipata nikizaliwa, even today they are the same. And I believe watu wananijua because I've been there. I've been on the ground. They know my capability. Yes, I'm tried, I'm proved, I'm already proved, and I'm already tested and tested. Wamenionja already.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Sasa you've touched on something to do with unemployment.
Yes.
Pale hospital ward, most of the industries in Thika, and we know Thika is an absolutely industrious town.
Yes, yeah.
Zinapatikana hospital ward.
Yes.
But still, there are very many unemployed people around. What is your take on that?
Now that we have devolution at our doorsteps, and the current setup of leadership is very clear, because those times, those early days, we didn't have someone, like we didn't have the office of the governor, which currently we have, and we didn't have such kind of money that is brought down to ward level through the office of the governor. I think if we have the right person on the ground, it is so easy to access those offices and make sure that those industries are revived. Although currently the economic status of our country is not very promising. But I believe in future, after the change of leadership that we are anticipating for, maybe those industries, some of them will be revived. Very few of them are very operative, na zinatusaidia currently, lakini hazijakuwa sufficient because the rate of employment is very high. We are talking of 80% of unemployed people. Na Thika being a cosmopolitan town, of which it harbors a lot of tribes, naona kuna that problem, of which maybe we can solve it from a national level, coming down to the county level, coming down to the ward level. But I think if I can position myself well, I can make a bill, I can present a bill. And that is what we lack. The current MCAs, huwezi sikia mtu ametengeneza bill over any issue here in Thika, but that is my work plan. Once I get elected, I'll make a bill about these industries. We see what we can do. Two, I was thinking, in as much as employment is concerned, I've noticed that we've lost so many youths into drugs. Not only drugs, into this illicit brews, because they are very idle. In hospital ward, I was looking at hospital ward and noticed that we don't have an institution ya kusaidia vijana into skillful jobs, like plumbing, like saloonist. We don't have a technical college. So I was thinking if I would get elected, kama pale community, that thing is unused for so many years. I was thinking maybe na pale Starehe, tunaweza ongea na county government, tutengenezewe hata ka institution hapo ya kufunza watu saloons, hizi kazi za mikono, carpentry. You see, that is creating employment, because once a youth has been trained for like 2-3 years, tutapata mechanics, tutapata watu wa plumbing, huyo mtu atakuwa self-employed. So not so much relying on employment from those industries because it might take the longest time yenye hatuwezi predict. But when it comes to an institution like a college kama hiyo, iwe hapo, you are sure after 2-3 years at least breed like 100 people who are already self-employed. So ukimaliza term yako ya 5 years like 200 people already wako employed. Nilikuwa naiangalia hivyo, naona hiyo kiwanja imekuwa grabbed. Hata ukiangalia hiyo community haiko venye ilikuwa. Although I know so many people, especially them that are doing business there, sio wengi wanaweza nipenda when I say that, but that is the truth. It has been grabbed. Irudishwe kwa serikali, tuundiwe college, watu wajifunze saloon, wengine wawe carpenter, wengine wawe mechanics, because today Juliet, ukitaka mtoto wako afunzwe mechanical, ataenda pale kwa these local people. But if we have an institution like that one, that person will be well prepared. Kwa hiyo hospital ward, niko na hiyo soko ya Mukiriti, Moi Market, kuna Jamhuri Market, which is free. Ukitaka kufanya biashara yako, unakuja na capital yako kidogo, you get space, na unaanza biashara. So kwangu, I will concentrate on so much kusaidia wanabiashara. Watoke from that low level, kwenda juu. Na wenye wanakuja wageni pia wanakuwa self-employed wapi? Hapo. But also, I will try as they are member of county assembly kutafuta other ways and other means of employment as far as those industries are concerned, kwa sababu kiganda moja ikiamushwa, that speaks of employment for the youth. Yeah.
Okay. Sasa we cannot conclude this discussion bila kuuliza hili swali. Tony Kuru ni mtu tunajua. Wakati wa uchaguzi tunamuona sana. Tunaona posters. But kikiumana, we don't see him again. Until the next election. Watu wanauliza.
Very well.
What usually happens?
What happened, Juliet? I'm a politician, but I'm also a businessman. Mimi navaa kofia ngapi? 2. Ya biashara na ya siasa. Because I believe without politics there is another life to live. Although I'm so much into politics, I'm a politician by nature. And kuna kitu nilikata mimi mwenyewe. Nilikata kuwa frustrated by politics. Baada ya uchaguzi, you hear so many people, mwingine yako hospitali anawekwa maji, mwingine sijui yako hivi. Mimi I refused. What I normally do, if I lose an election, I go back to business. And since I've been through so much, nimetoka nje ya Thika on so many occasions, and I realized uko nje there are greener pastures. Business is good. So, and since I'm a hawker, after every election mtu anakuanga drained. Acha nikuambie Juliet, hakuna kitu mbaya kama siasa na kama kusimama, because you use all the money that you have and you are not sponsored by those political parties. You don't get individuals even to sponsor you. Some people think ati ukisimama, and I'll tell my competitors, usifikiria ati kuna mtu atakuja kukupiga check. It is from your own pocket. Na sasa mimi juu ni mtu wa biashara kidogo kidogo, sometimes I have my 1 million or my 500,000, I use it up, it's finished. So what do? After you lose an election, you take your about 10,000, 5,000, you go somewhere else. Kwa watu wenye hawakujui ulikuwa umesimama councillor, the environment is very conducive. So you start up something small to make sure that your home is running, that there is bread on the table, there is food on the table, you're able to pay your bills, you're able to pay your rents, you're able to pay school fees, you see? And this is why I normally go out. And I came to know about, like, for example, Eldoret. There's a time that I was supposed to be arrested simply because I was fighting the authority over the allocation of the hawkers. So tukaambiwa tutashikwa. And we were 3 guys. Tukatoroka Thika. We landed in Eldoret. For 2 weeks we were in Eldoret. We were doing nothing. So tukastroll, we saw people doing business. Na tukaona huko, hey, the place is good. So me after every election, by the way, and I'll promise you, if I'm given the mandate to represent my people from hospital come this 2022, I'll stay put.
Okay.
But if they don't, what else do you do? So you get back to business.
Yes.
And you go for where there are greener pastures.
Yes.
So there is that propaganda. They've used it before. Lakini kwa nini hawajiulizi mbona Tony asimami huko penye anaendanga? Because I have a burden for hospital ward. Hata huko Eldoret naweza chaguliwa. Kitale naweza chaguliwa. Anyway in this country, as long as umekaa na watu vizuri, you can be elected. But because you have a burden, you have a burden that keeps you pushing you. This is why even after some those years, or after I go where I go, I come back home. Tena Juliet, home is home. Yeah, wanasemanga east or west. Home is best. And then you cannot go kuzima moto ya mbali na kwenyu kuna waka moto. Because I have those skills. Na I have expectations out of the kind of leadership that I can dispense. This is why I always come back home. You see? So people try to use that one to rule me out of the game, but I'll stay put. Na nitangangana mpaka ile siku wataona the other side of the coin. Because some people, my opponents, wanatakanga tu kuangalia hapo. After every election, Tony anatoroka. But I also ask, hao watu wanataka waone nikiomba. Hey, me I'm not that kind of a person. I work hard in business and in politics. Yes, I work hard in both.
Fair enough. Fair
Then
enough.
there is this other propaganda that people said, I don't know, in 2007, after being elected, I sold my victory to someone else. And let me tell you, that is the worst thing that really happened in my life. To win an election, to be declared, wewe ni mheshimiwa for 2 days, then the third day you're irrelevant. It is the worst thing that really happened in my life. And people just pick it out for fun. But to me, it is a concern. Because, Julie, hata wewe sidhani umewaiona soko ya viti. Then why should people buy? If you can buy a seat, a political seat, why should people buy? Why should you have posters all around? Why should you fuel the vehicles? Why should you go register with a political party? You are 50,000, you are 30,000. Why should you register with IBC? Why should you waste all this time, 2, 3, 4, 5 months doing campaign? Yet you can save that kind of a money for a period of 5 years and then you buy the seat. I think hakuna pahali viketi zinauzwa Kenya mzina, hakuna. Zile pengine viti huwa zinanunuliwa nikisikia ni hizi za nominations. Hizo nasikianga ati mtu sijua amepeana kitu fulani, then you become nominated. But if you are fighting for a political seat, you cannot actually be declared a winner and then you give it to somebody hata si wa ukoo yenyu. And then unasikia mtu anasema Tony alichaguliwa, sijui akauza kiti, wengine wanasema 200,000, wengine wanasema 1,000,000. Then why should I be what I am today? Why should I be looking for that political post again in the same place? Siningeenda hata township ama niende Kameno, lakini kwa wale watu the same people wenye naambiwa walinipatia kiti alafu nikauza, why should I go back to them? But let me tell you, it's a propaganda. It's a political propaganda. And I would urge my people not to believe in such a propaganda. That is what they used last time. Last time, the 2017 elections, nili participate, but I found a very hostile ground. Watu waliamini ati nilipewa kiti, nikauza. Lakini those propagandas are used to deter a person who has ideas and skills of leadership. A person who can bring change at their doorsteps. Huyo mtu anatafutiwa such kind of propagandas to deter that person from leadership. And this is why hospital ward is in that state. Because people want to believe lies more than see the ideas or the skills that person has. But those propagandas do not change who Tony is. I'm the same Tony that was in 2002. I'm the same Tony who fought for the people of Mukiriti, for the people of Jammu Foster in 2007. I'm the same Tony who stood in 2017, and I'm the same Tony who is now vying the fourth time for these political posts. I'm dispensing my candidature again, and I believe with God's power, I will make it. Yes, and I'll become the 2022 MCA for Hospital Ward. Believe it, I'm 100% sure that I'll be given votes.
Sawa, sawa. Yeah. Thank you very, very much. I think you've articulated everything, you've said everything.
Yeah.
And we as 3T team,
yes,
we wish you all the best in your political endeavors.
Thank you. We appreciate the kind of work you are doing. At least as in Thika, we are proud of you. You've given us a platform even to express and to talk about our political journeys. And I hope that you'll give us some more platforms.
Yes.
And it's my prayer that you maybe at one time or one point of time, you call all of us at the panel. Let us express ourselves. Let us actually say what we carry for our people. Let us expose our leadership skills and ideas. And by so doing, you will also make those people who elect us be exposed in a larger scope of what kind of leadership that they want to bring down, so that they don't cry foul after maybe 5 years. You are doing a great job of exposing us to the public. Let the public learn from us and from you by what we are doing, so that maybe they can make the best choice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So, that was Tony Kuru, a seasoned politician. From the conversation that you've had, he has totally schooled us about Hospital Ward. And as we always say here at 3T TV, the reason why we bring you these men and women who are vying for these political seats is so that they can articulate their issues, and you as the voter will make an informed decision. As always, today we are coming to you from Mary Point Chicken Garden. And from my background, I'm sure you can see some kienyeji chicken. Here you can come and pick out the kienyeji chicken that you'd like to have as you enjoy some soft drinks. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and stay safe.